Last year, it was just an endless round of physical rehab. I'm just wondering how you were able to deal with it from an emotional and mental standpoint, and how taxing that was, and how you dealt with it.
Yeah. No, I definitely, like you said, it was very taxing. Especially for someone who, I've never experienced anything like that. But I just always stay true to myself. My family was around me to support me during that time. Teammates, coaching staff, really everyone around the building just was supporting me. But during that time, injury after injury, rehab, you get to feel kind of lonely. So I had to, like I said, stick to my family, my support system, and they were there for me big time.
All right, George Bremer.
Dennis, thanks for doing this. Last year, obviously, you missed all that time, and then this spring, there's no, everything's shut down. Is there any danger in overdoing it when you do get back on the field? Do you have to hold yourself back at all a little bit?
No, I don't think so. I feel like during this offseason, I don't know, even though, with everything going on, I've done a really, really good job of getting in a routine, taking care of my body, doing things that I wasn't doing before. And I feel like I have a really good grasp on that. That was one of the things I wanted to change this offseason, make sure I have a strict routine so that my body's in tip-top shape. And I've been, kind of simulating things, so when I get back on the field, it's not all new to me again. So I'm just trying to put myself in every situation I can possibly.
All right, Phil B.
Hi, Parris. Thank you for your time, sir.
Of course.
I saw you play at Ohio State every year you were there, and you never got hurt. You made big plays all the time. Obviously, everything didn't play out the way you wanted last year. Do you go into this year with the mindset that you haven't really shown what you can do, or that people will see the real Parris Campbell this time?
Yeah, for sure. I'm going in with the mindset just, that it's a new year. I've, kind of transformed myself, into a pro. And I've been able to see, at least one season. Maybe it's not all 16 games, but I've seen just from, watching, being in it, just getting the experience of being an NFL player, just having that experience. So it's helped me a lot. I know it's only 1 year. It's, tons of more stuff to learn, tons of more stuff to do, but it was a good foundation for me, even though it didn't go the way I wanted it to go.
Thank you.
Jim Aiello.
Hey, Paris. I just wanted to. You said you got a new routine. You're doing things now that you haven't done before. I was wondering if you kind of just, provide some insight as to what those things are.
Yeah. So aside of obviously working out, conditioning, doing all those things, catching footballs, all that stuff, that's kind of things that I've always done. But just when I speak of the routine, I'm just talking about things to do to take care of my body. So whether that's doing ART twice a week, getting massages 3 times a week, stretching every morning and night. I've really kind of honed in on that, just making sure my body's, like I said, in tip-top shape. And, as soon as I'm not feeling well one day, I'm talking to the trainers, even though I can't see them. I'm talking to them, letting them know what's going on, seeing what I can do next. But I have a, strict routine, like I said, ART, massages, stretching. I'm really, honed in on that.
All right, Zach Kiefer.
Hey, Paris. New quarterback this year. You got some new offensive weapons as well, and Pittman and Taylor, and you can even throw your name into this category because of what we saw last year. But what's your evaluation of how much different the offense is going to look this year compared with what we saw last year?
I feel like it's going to be explosive. You just said it yourself. We added some new weapons, new quarterback, and just the way that meetings have been going, I can just tell that everyone's bought in, everyone's super excited. But like you said, we have a lot of weapons, man. I think we can do a lot of damage. But I think the offense is going to be fresh. It's going to be a new look. See some new guys with different abilities. I feel like we have a room of wideouts. The list goes on of what we're capable of. So I think it's going to be fun, exciting, explosive. I think it's going to be a good year.
Kevin Bowen.
Hey, Paris, thanks for doing this. Was it frustrating all last year seeing your draft mates, some of the fellow wideouts drafted around you, have the success that they did? And did you lean on anyone within the Colts building or, a college teammate, a high school friend, something like that throughout this?
I would say it was. I feel like that's human nature. For anyone, you get drafted, rather high of other wideouts in the draft class, and to see everybody have that success that they did. Obviously, I saw it, and just the competitor inside me, it made me upset and wishing I was able to do things and make plays, just as those guys. But I know. And this is just from growing up. I know that everybody's path is different. I know that everything happens for a reason. And, I had bumps in my path earlier than some guys. So it's just the hand I was dealt. The one thing I learned throughout all that stuff is, I'm not going to run from anything. I took my problems head on and just dealt with them and, got better, learned, and moved forward. But a guy I was kind of talking to throughout was Terry McLaurin. I mean, we all seen the season that he had. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people on the outside looking in didn't expect that. But I've known Terry, for 5 years now, went to college, roommates, all that stuff. And I knew the type of player he was, so I wasn't surprised. But he was a guy that helped me throughout college, and he helped me throughout those injuries as well. So it was kind of cool to, talk to him during those times.
And just one quick follow-up. Are you back running routes, and how long have you been doing that, if so?
Oh, yeah, I'm 100%. I say that with a smile because, it's fun to do those things again. But I've been doing that pretty much for like two and a half months. So ever since kind of the COVID stuff started, I've been full go.
All right, Dave Griffiths.
Hey, Parris, you kind of mentioned in your answer about just the new offensive weapons goes to the number of offensive weapons you have now. I mean, there's a lot of different guys that want rushes, that want targets. So what do you have to do to prove to Coach Reich, Sirianni, to Philip Rivers himself that you can be relied upon week after week to get the targets that you want in this offense?
Yeah. So I've been, a guy just I'm here for the team. I'm going to do whatever it takes, whatever I'm asked, I'm going to do it the very best that I can. And I think that's number one. I think that's going in with the mindset that every time you're called upon to do something in the offense, whether it's throw a block, catch a pass, whatever it is, you got to do it to the best of your ability. And make sure you're just always doing your job. And then I think other things are going to come. The success is always going to come if you take that mindset. And that's something I've done, my entire playing career.
Stephen Holder.
Hey, Parris. I remember last year when you got drafted, Coach was telling us about how he thought that you could really be more than what some people saw you as, gadget guy or a slot receiver and that kind of thing. And I know that was something that was important to you. How much progress do you think you were able to make last year in just playing different roles and just kind of expanding your repertoire? Did you feel like you made progress there?
Yeah, for sure. I felt like coming in, I had that label. I wasn't mad at it. At Ohio State, really, that was kind of my role. I was a screen guy, jet sweep guy, short, quick slant, stuff like that. So that was all people saw. But honestly, the person that I am and knowing what I could do, I always knew that I could do more. And I think that's what the whole entire Colts organization saw me do throughout the draft process and the combine and all that stuff. They saw my ability to not just be limited to slot and all those gadget plays. So I think they knew that ahead of time. But definitely, just the more reps that I get at playing outside receiver or whatever it is, definitely think I'm just continuing to get better with it.
And just to follow up, that's a big emphasis in this organization, isn't it? Like you need to, at your position, it seems like you really need to be able to do multiple things and play multiple spots. How important is that?
Oh, it's huge. Coach Reich preaches that, often. In this offense, we don't really have, certain label guys, or we don't have slot guys. Maybe I play more in the slot, but we definitely like to move around and scheme different defenses up. So, and that's one thing about our room. We have wideouts who are capable, like I said, of multiple different things. So we're able to switch guys around and put them in different positions, and that's advantage Colts.
All right, Bob Kravitz again.
Yeah, Parris, I'm curious what you learned. You touched on this before, but what you learned about yourself throughout this process. And a second question, you talked about your support system. Can you be more specific about, I think you've got a young family and a child.
Yeah. So obviously my support system starts with my fiance and my son, and then just branches out, my mother, stepdad, grandparents, sisters, cousins, everybody. So, but I really was able to kind of grow with my fiance at the time. She was really there for me in that moment, just because I saw her on a daily basis. I was talking to my mom often, FaceTime calls, the whole nine. So they were really there for me in that moment. I just, with learning things about myself, I learned that I'm human. We kind of get caught up in, we're football players, we're big time people. But we face real adversity as well. And that was some adversity that I faced. And honestly, up to that point, I couldn't say that there was really any real adversity that I had faced in my life. So it was something I was challenged with. But like I said, I learned a lot about myself. I learned that I'm taking, challenges head on. I'm not running from them. And I really feel like I came on top of them.
Andrew Walker.
I know you're not limited to the slot like we were just talking about, but I'm sorry, I have a slot-specific question. Why is your speed so important there? Like, just in studying film and what you've seen so far at this level, when you have a guy like you with speed and maybe a little bit more size and strength than some might expect, how specifically can you take advantage with some of those matchups and the weapons around you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you just said it yourself, the matchup. I think slot receiver is all about matchups. And that's where the game plan and the scheme comes in. But a lot of times when you're in the slot, unless the defense is in nickel, bringing in an extra DB, majority of the time you're lined up against safeties, sometimes even linebackers, who aren't, as I don't want to say as athletic, but the speed may not be up to a par. So it's definitely just a matchup thing, and having the things that I have, I think it just works well.
Okay, we'll go a couple more. Jake Arthur.
Yeah, thanks, Parris. So before last season, we heard that you were kind of attached to T.Y. Hilton's hip, trying to learn and kind of grow as much as you can. How has you guys' relationship developed over that last year?
It's just continued to grow, man. And I would say that T.Y. kind of just became a friend for me as well. Not only a leader in the wideout room, a leader to me, but he really became a friend for me. We all know that T.Y. loves to joke around, and that was kind of something that kept my spirits up, day in and day out. Knowing a guy like that, who is our leader, he loves to come to work and do what he does. So that was huge for me, especially, coming in, you see and think of T.Y. Hilton's name. He's a superstar. You never know, how those guys are going to act, but T.Y.'s, as down to earth as anyone. So that was huge for me.
And last one, Taylor Tannenbaum.
I know some people are big on visualizing, and I know you've been through a lot this year mentally. I don't know if a list of goals is something you've maybe made. And if so, if you want to share that, what are some things heading into year 2 that you are dead set on accomplishing?
Yeah. So just going back, my number one goal of all was to, have a set routine. And like I said, just going back to taking care of my body, not only doing those things, but, eating the right things, making sure I'm fueling myself with the right things. And then going into the season, obviously, I have a main goal of, playing every game that we play. I want to be on the field. I feel like if I'm on the field, it's an advantage for us. And that's how I look at myself. I look at myself as a key playmaker. So as long as I'm on the field, I feel like we're in a good spot. So there's other things that I have that, I really want to keep to myself right now. But just main goals is, having that routine and, playing all game.